Okay, let's talk about finance component. Finance component of financial management. The finance component, as we discussed earlier, is, well, if we take financial management as a subject of our study, management, it consists of finance and technically management. So the management was discussed in the previous video. Okay, so the highlights were that it's about four things. It's about P, O, M, and C. Now, what is P? Planning. What is O? Organizing. What is M? Motivating. And what is C? Controlling. Now, let's shift our focus to finance and ask ourselves a question. What is finance and what are the functions of finance? We did some reading today about finance, so it will be I will highlight the most important things. So the first thing I want to do, let me see that if I have it in my notes. I think I'll take it. Yes. So let's begin with definition. Definition in Russian is what? Yes. The definition of finance. I like the definition that was given by Lawrence Gitman. I think Paulina was reading about it, and so I want to highlight it. That finance is the science plus, and I have a special color for this, art of managing money. The science and art of managing money. I like it's short, but it's full at the same time. Now, if you look at it, you see that the word science kind of gives you the idea of something that you test, you study, there is some, laws attached to it, formulas, and so on and so forth. So science, it means in finance, there is a formal part. Formal, it means like there is a form, a fixed form of things. It has some formalities. It is objective in many ways. Objective. It not only it's objective, it can. Hold on. Formal, objective, and there was something else I wanted to say about, but I forgot. But if I remember, no. Okay. Well, let me do the art part. If the art part is it's vice versa. It's the opposite of what we are talking about. The art means that there are informal parts in finance. Something that is subjective. in its nature. So it depends on how you look at it and who looks at it. In the science, there are laws, and whereas in the art, there are some principles, but it's more like intuition. So it's very creative, okay? And so that's how it connects together. So there is scientific, where you study, you learn, you use formulas, you do math. One more word. It's quantitative. Quantitative. Quantitative means numbers, quantities. So you can do some estimates, how many rubles, how many dollars, profits, losses. So it's quantitative. But at the same time, some aspects of finance are more qualitative. Qualitative has to do with quality. Okay? So these are the things that you kind of keep in mind when you study finance. So it's the art, the science and art of managing money. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to talk about, let's talk about the functions of finance. The functions of finance, and I will do it in this way. Well, I think I'll draw a bigger matrix. So in a bigger matrix, we'll have 4 sections, and we will talk about them in a little more detail. So, from reading the text, did you pay attention to the functions of finance that were discussed? And if you did, what are they? Do you remember anything from the text today? Yes. Okay, so finance functions, part of the finance functions, hold on, I'll put it in the right sections. Liquidity decisions. Remember? So that's one of the area of finance as a function. You have to make liquidity decisions. What else do you remember? Profitability, but they were called, Irina, dividend decisions. Let's also put them on the mark here. I'll put it here. Dividend decisions. Okay, what else do you remember from the text? If you do, let me know. If you don't, let me put it this way. Investment decisions. And last but not least are the finance decisions. Okay? So the 4 functions of finance: investment, liquidity, dividends, finance. Okay? So let me just briefly highlight the important ideas connected with each area of decision making. Investment decisions. They are concerned with, well, let me use a different color. So it is about where to invest and how to invest. So and the bottom line is that each company starts with a certain amount of capital, which in the business for profit you want to expand. So you want to expand over time. Today we use the word equity, right? So the word equity, so I can picture it here as you start with your initial capital, and then over time you try to expand and you want to make it bigger. And then you are happy. So where to invest and how to invest? And of course, we have the traditional way of looking at investing. Is I take money, I put it in a bank on deposit, or invest it in the company and get either interest, проценты, or I get some share in profit in the form of dividends or share profit. So, but anyway, anyhow you do it, it's about the money should come back to you. So the companies do the same thing. For example, you take Google or Apple company. By the way, do you know which company is the biggest in the world right now? Have you ever thought about it? What is the biggest company in the world? And the answer is Apple. What is the second biggest company in the world? And the answer is Google, or Alphabet, as it's called right now. In the past, about 15 to maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was Coca-Cola or some other companies. But who is the richest man in the world? That's Elon Musk. Okay? But his company is not the biggest. Huh? No, he is the richest man, but his company is not the biggest. Well, we can double check. Maybe in the last years things changed, but last year Apple was the biggest company. I didn't check this year yet. Okay, but anyway, so even companies that produce gadgets or produce internet services, they are about capitalization. They're about growing the equity. Okay, so investment decisions. Yes. Microsoft is the second now. I thought it's already almost dead, but okay, we'll see. You can click what is called the rating. Well, double check. Let us know in the end of the class. Now, investment decisions. What about liquidity decisions? Liquidity is about how to be solvent. How to be solvent. Remember, we use this word solve, solvency, insolvency. So, how to be solvent, it means how to pay debts. How to pay debts in time. So we can picture it this way, that if you are a company, this is like you, so each company usually generates certain debts. It's like a burden for the company. Well, it happens all the time. But it's not like you owe because you made a mistake. It's more like, okay, you operate. For example, we have a class here. There is electricity. Well, somebody has to pay for the electricity, heating, or I don't know, cleaning, or water supply, or utilities. Okay, so the university operates and it generates debts. So how do you cover these debts? Well, in order to cover debts, you need to have money. Where do you take money from? You generate money from your assets. Assets, active. And so you use your assets to generate profits or to generate inflows to cover debts. So liquidity decisions, it is about how to be solvent by using your debts, transferring them into cash in order to meet your obligations. So if you do it in time, if you do it wisely, so you are solvent. If you make mistakes, you're insolvent. Now, with dividend decisions, like you said, dividends, it's about how to manage profits, or what to do with profits. Pretty much what you can do with profits. You can eat it, or you can keep it, or you can give it. So you generated profits. You can either distribute profits, for example, to shareholders of the company, or you can retain it. Retain is to keep. So you set it aside for the company, and you kind of make funds out of it. Or you can, or you can also somehow invest it. So you can use it for other projects. So you're using it, you're not giving it away, you're reinvesting it. Or you can retain it. So these are pretty much what you do, and so you decide how much here, how much here, how much here. So this is dividend decisions. And last, the finance decisions. Here we deal with, let's say, the company needs a new facility, production facility, in order to produce new merchandise, goods, things to sell. This is new. Or if you understand it better, for example, you want a new car, but you don't have enough resources for that. So your equity is not enough. So what are you going to do? Well, you need money for this investment. And the question is, where are you going to take it from? Well, partially you can use your equity. Equity, что у нас, запомнили? Собственный капитал, yes, so it's your own profits. You can you can borrow from your, for example, relatives, your grandmother funds. I want to buy a car and use my grandma funds. Or you can use your friends, or you can go to the bank, okay, and take a bank loan. So, but anyway, you have to find money to finance something that you need. A car, a facility, a factory, a land, an office, computer equipment, anything. So finance decisions, it's about what am I going to use and how much. Okay? Because some of these sources are free, some of these sources are not free. You have to pay. Okay? So overall, that's what finance functions are about. Finance functions. Well, now if we try to connect the management functions which were here and the finance, no, I'll do it this way. And the finance functions that were here, we will arrive finally to the overall picture of financial management. And that's the one that you also saw in the textbook. So on the one hand, we have, I will do the short version, investment decisions. And for investment decisions, we still need planning, organizing, motivating, and controlling activities. So you need to plan investments. You need to organize investments. If you have a department with people, you need to manage your staff who deals with investments. You need to control your investments. So you perform management functions in this area. Then if you go to liquidity decisions, you do the same thing: planning, organizing, motivating, and controlling. In the same way, you do some managerial activities in liquidity section. And in the same way, you go to dividend decisions, planning, organizing, motivating, and controlling. And eventually, when you get to the financing decisions, planning, organizing, motivating, controlling. So that is why we said in the textbook, well, we read in the textbook this definition, that financial management deals with, look, managerial functions, planning, organizing, motivating, and controlling, applied to financial activities and decisions. Investing decisions, financing decisions, liquidity decisions, and dividend decisions. And here's the picture that we already talked about. So now it should make sense. Does it make sense to you? Okay. So, well, so that concludes our discussion of the finance component, and we may finish our class here and see you next time.